Yo, 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 yo. Yo, what's the word, my beautiful black people? um, I actually did this video before, but um, when I went to listen to the playback, I realized that I left out a lot of key points that I wanted to make. Okay, now I actually did a uh, a version of this video on my men's only series. Okay, I released that video a day or two ago, and I believe that the subject is interesting enough and important enough to share with everybody. Okay, so that's why I decided to do this video. Now, the subject is people carrying on with relationships and flirtatious activities. Um, you know, um, things that would be considered sexually based or sexually charged. People that engage in those types of activities in the workplace. Now, I wanted to tell a story that something that I saw go down. One of the many situations that I've seen go down. Now, I had a gig years ago, and there was this younger guy that was there. Um, I could tell that this guy was very immature, somewhat childish. I could see him coming a mile away. But at this particular company, he already had a position, a certain position, not very high, but he had one of those positions with the title. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And tell you the truth, the only way I could see him um, acquiring any type of position like that would be for the simple fact that he had been there for a while, and I believe he had been at this particular company for about maybe 5 years. Years, okay, and so yeah, he had this position. Well, anyway, the higher ups, um, there was another position that had opened, okay, and so the position had to be filled. Well, they wound up hiring this woman, right? She comes walking in there, a white woman. Now, I could tell off the gate that it was something shady about her. So I made it a point to keep my distance. I would be cordial. I would say, "Hey, how you doing?" or whatever. But I kept my distance. Okay. Um, it was just something shady about her. And plus, I mean, we're talking about a white woman, so I was gonna keep my distance from her to begin with. But it was just something about her. So one day, I had came back to the office, right? And she's already been there for like maybe a good week. And I come back to the office, and I walk in and it's like one of these little small offices where you have like 3 or 4 desks that are like lined up along each wall. It's like a setup like that. And I remember walking in, and the young guy that I was talking about earlier, he was sitting at a desk like on the far wall, and she was sitting at a desk um, on like the opposite wall. They're probably like maybe 15, 20 feet from each other. Okay. Um, but the thing is, they're the only two in this office. Okay. Well, they were the only two in there at the time that I went in there. So the thing is that they were going to be working around each other. Okay. Now, by the time I left up out of there, the first thought that popped in my mind was this guy's going to wind up making a pass at this broad. I mean, it was just a feeling that I had because, like I said, this dude, he's a childish individual, you know? And when I saw the two of them in the office, alone, that was just the thought that came to my mind. I'm looking like, yeah, this cat, he's gonna wind up saying something that he shouldn't say or doing something that he shouldn't do. Um, that is what popped in my mind. Well, about a week later, I come back to the office um, from being out and about, and I come back, and one of my coworkers, he walks up and he starts telling me that the uh, the higher ups just let this young guy that I've been talking about. They had just let him go. They had just fired him. Now let me back up a minute, okay? Let me back up a little bit. The white woman that they had hired like a week or two before, they had let her go maybe 2 week not 2 weeks, but 2 days. They had let her go about 2 days prior. All right. I don't know. I guess they just felt like she wasn't working out, or maybe they didn't actually need her. I don't know. But they let her go. Okay. Now, fast forward to the day that I'm talking about where they let this young dude go. I come to the office and my coworker is telling me they just let him go, and he made like this real big scene about it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm like, oh yeah? I'm like, for what? He didn't know. He just saw what it went down. Well, later on, what I wind up finding out is that the white woman that they had let go a couple of days before, well, apparently she was very upset when they let her go. Okay. So she had revenge on her mind. You know what I'm saying? So apparently what happened was she called back up there and told these people that she was getting ready to file sexual harassment charges. Now, check this out. This young childish dude that I was talking about, come to find out, he actually did make a pass at this woman, just like I thought he would. Okay? And it wasn't actually a pass. It was more like some kind of dumb comment he made. You know what I'm saying? She's like, she was like, well, she was wearing like a low cut blouse or something, and him being the corny individual that he is, he said something to the woman like, damn, you're hot, or something whack like that. You know what I'm saying? So when they let her go, she was upset. So to get back at them, or to have some type of get back, she calls back up there and tells them what this guy had said to her a week prior. So as a result of that, they let him go. Now, like I said, he had already been there for like maybe 5 years. This white woman, she had only been there for like maybe 2 weeks tops, 2.5 weeks tops. So him opening his damn mouth on some horny toad nonsense basically led to him losing his job. Now, I mean, and you want to know what was tripped out about it? This fool has a wife and kids at home. Okay? He has a wife and kids at home. He winds up losing his job because he wants to come at this old white woman. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just one example. That's just an example of somebody being somewhat flirtatious, okay? But I have seen things come down the pipe as a result of people actually getting into these little relationships with coworkers and with bosses and with employees. And so many times I have seen these types of things turn into disaster. Okay? Look, there's an old saying, don't mix business with pleasure. Okay? Straight up. Whenever you engage in those types of things, man, shoot, you run the risk of winding up in a bad spot because you're at the workplace. You know what I'm saying? You're at the workplace. Those types of things should be separate. Okay? Those types of things should not be married. Okay? Work and pleasure, I mean, should not be married. Not when you're talking about people's hearts and people's hormones being involved. It's just not a good idea. You know what I'm saying? It is not a good idea. People get in their feelings. I've seen people get into these on the job relationships where people get into their feelings, and next thing you know, somebody's shooting off their mouth, and next thing you know, somebody's doing something over here, somebody's talking to that person over there, and next thing you know, the two people involved, they're in the office. They wind up in the boss's office because they can't keep the nonsense down. You know what I'm saying? Their feelings and people get sensitive when it comes to stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Look, people don't know how to act. All right? People don't know how to act. So when you have the workplace and you involve stuff like that, most of the time it winds up turning into a bad situation. Okay? Some people don't know how to just turn it off. Some people don't know how to just walk away. You know what I'm saying? People are spiteful, uh, vengeful, and just the whole 9 yards. Okay? So, I mean, on the job relationships and you know the different type, y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, the flirting and the like I said, people's hormones getting involved. It's just not a good idea. It's not it. A lot of the times it doesn't turn out well. Okay, so my advice is to not engage in those types of activities. You know what I'm saying? The flirting, the 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 actual relationships. Uh, it's just not. It's not the type of thing that um, that that fits in well when it comes to the workplace. Okay, mixing business with pleasure. There's a reason why that old saying was created. So, yeah, I've seen those situations, those types of situations end up bad. Um, and like I said earlier, of course, there are success stories. You know what I'm saying? I was talking about this in my men's only series. There are success stories. There are people that have met on the job that went on to get married, start a family, and the whole 9 yards. So yes, there are success stories, but man, if you have been around the block a few times, you know that for every success story, there's about 10 disastrous ones. You know what I'm saying? There are people that have lost everything. Okay? There are people that have lost everything because of these on the job relationships. You know what I'm saying? There are people out here who are mad cheating on their spouses. You know what I'm saying? Women and men. I was looking at a post a few months ago where the post said something about uh, making your girlfriend or your wife, getting into a fight with them, and they go to work and their their work husband is is waiting for him or something like that. I mean, a work husband? Or are you kidding me? We know how it goes down, people. And it's stuff like that that just winds up bad a lot of the time, yo. You know what I'm saying? You wind up getting into it with your so called work husband or your so called work wife, and it winds up getting home to your actual family. What the hell do you do then? You know what I'm saying? It's like there was a Slick Rick, right? These types of things happen every day. Those types of things happen every day, man. My point is this: it is just not a good idea to go down that road at the workplace. Okay? Listen, people, stop the flirting. Okay? Stop the flirting. And I mean, just Just cut it all the way out, yo. Straight up. All right, people. Been a long video, I know, but once again, I had a lot to say. Y'all leave y'all comments below. All right, y'all. Later.